V'zehu inyan Chukas Torah, and this is the concept of the statutes of the Torah. The statute of the Torah, Lashon Chakika, language of engraving. V'ha'inyan, and the concept is Shachakika hu gavoa yoser ma'osios haksav, that engraving is higher than the written letters. U'lechein haluchos hayu charus al haluchos, and therefore the luchos, it was engraved upon the luchos. Shenimshechu mishoresh haTorah kamo shehi bebichinas osios hachakika. It was drawn from the level of the root of the Torah as it is in a concept of the engraved letters. V'torah shebechsav hainu achar yislabshuso bebichinas osios haksav, and the written Torah that is after it was enclosed in the lower level of the written letters. U'bepara aduma ne'amar zos chukas haTorah, and by the red heifer it says that this is the statute of the Torah, sheba v'al yada mamshichim mibechinas chukas haTorah, that in it and through it we draw down from the concept of the statutes of the Torah. Lihiyos nimshach miskala lamata, to be drawn down and revealed below. And this is the concept of that this is what Hashem has commanded. What does it mean, commanded? Tziva is a language of union and connection. Mishem Havaya, the Atik, from Shem Havaya of Atik, Asheru Bechinas Madregas Osius Chakika. That's the level of, and the concept of the engraved letters. Tziva Havaya Lemur, what's Lemur? Bebichinas Chachma, Shezeu Bechinas Torah Shebechsav. That's Hashem is commanded or attached to say. That's a concept of speaking wisdom, of Chachma, that's the written Torah. So Havaya was Nimshach and connected the Shem Havaya of Atik downwards, Lemur, to Torah Shebechsav, Nimshach into Torah Shebechsav. U'bemes bechinas u'madrega hanikra lamayla chukas haTorah dainu inyan osios hachekika shalamayla. And in truth, the concept and level of that's called the above the concept of the statute of the Torah, that is the engraved letters. Shalamayla, above, hu gavoa yosu memadrega sachakika sheniskala beluchos, is higher than the level of engraving that was revealed on the luchos. The afal pisha osios hayu mineu be. So the chakika that we're talking about in the paraduma is higher than the chakika of the luchos. The chukas Torah of the paraduma. The afal pisha haosios hayu mineu be, that even though the letters of the luchos were in it and of it, of the luchos mikol makom al kol panim nechsar mehaven b'makom ma'os, nonetheless, in that space where the letters were engraved, there is some of the stone was missing to make the letter. Which is not the case with the concept of the engraving of the Torah, which is not the case with the statute of the Torah, as it is above in its source and root, and the infinite may be blessed. The Torah and the Holy One, blessed be He, are all one. So there, I guess there's no lacking in the letters as well. And the concept is Alpi Mashikos B'Zohar Pashas Bereshis Daf Tezvav Beresh Hormenusa de Malka, Beresh Hormenusa de Malka, in the beginning of the desire of the will of the king. Galif Kilifu B'Tihiru Law, engraved engravings in the supernal purity. With Galifu Chakika, and the word Galif means an engraving. Ki Targum Pasachta Allah Bituche, because the Aramaic translation of that you should engrave upon it in engraving, Kodesh Lashem, on the tzitz it says V'tigul of Chulu. The translation is that you should engrave. Uperush Beresh Hormanas de Malka, and what does it mean? The beginning of the will of the king. Perush Be'eshel Avraham, the Eshel Avraham, from Rabbeinu Mordechai, named after Rabbeinu Avraham Ravigo. It explains Shezeu Bechinas Melech Malchei Hamlachim. What is Hor Manasseh de Malka? It's the concept of the king of the kings, or the Malchus of the Malchus of the Malchus. Dainu Bechinas Malchus Dein Sof. That is to say, Malchus of Ein Sof. Dainu Masha Allah B'Ritzonu HaPashut Shia Melech Shemo Nikra. That is to say, that which came up in his will, in his simple will, that he should be called a king. That's the desire to be king. So this is the concept of engraving on that level. And the concept is it's compared to someone who writes or engraves in a precious stone, not just an engraving on a stone, but engraving on a precious stone. That shines very much. Some kinds of letters or scratches, I guess. So in the place where it's engraved and written on, it doesn't shine quite as brightly in that spot. And the same brilliance that it shines in the place where there aren't these engravings, v'rishumim and scratches, shishamhu bahir biyosir, that's in the other spots it's more brilliant. Which is not the case with those places where the engravings are nechshach or me'at. Its brilliance, its light is lessened over there a little. But nonetheless, this engraving is still the stone itself. And there's no other thing other than it. Zulasi hulevad, only it alone. Only that its brilliance has been darkened a little. And so too allegorically, when the Ein Sof emanated, Pirush Or Ein Sof, what does it mean, the light of the infinite? I know Al Derech Mashal Or V'Ziv. And Nimshach Mimenu Yizbarich, that's what is Or Ein Sof? It's the light and glimmer that's drawn from him. Maybe blessed Moshe goes b'makom acher. Bechinas Keser, when it emanated, the concept of the crown of Keser, Shu Bechinas Partzufei Atik V'Arich, which refers to the partsufim of Atik and Arich, Nikra Galif Gilifu, that's called engravings. Shachakika Himineu Be, that the engraving is of it and in it. Vainu Hach Mamar, and they're truly one thing. Kihem Nikra Gamkin Ein Sof, because they're also described as Ein Sof, as infinite. With Veim Lamayla Mayla Mebichinas Olam Hatzilus, and they're much, much higher than the world of Atzilus, of emanation. V'ayin b'haramaz Parsha Shlach b'daf kuf nun tes b'pirush tlas almin islei l'kud shebrichu. And look in the Ramaz, explaining that there's three worlds, to the Holy One, blessed be He. Ach mikol makom l'gabi Or Ein Sof nikra keser gamkin b'shem choshech, but nonetheless, in comparison to the infinite light, the Keser is also called darkness. Like it's brought in Tikunim Kisrei Law, that the supernal crown of Al-Gavdi Ortzach, that even though it's a pure light, Ucham Kodam Ilasa Ilos, it is darkness and dark in front of the source of all sources. And this is allegorically like this place of engraving, whereas it's darkened, the brilliance of the precious stone, and it's not like the brilliance of the precious stone in the spot where it's not engraved. That that's the infinite light, that's beyond the emanation of Keser, the list, machshava, tfisa, beklal, that no thought can grasp there at all, in him at all. And in this place of engraving, which refers to the concept of emanating Atik and Arich, Nikra Ukam Ukam, it's called dark and dark. Legabi ha'or atzmo, in comparison to the light itself. And through this, you can have the source and root to creation of the 10 spheros datzilus. But nonetheless, this engraving is much, much higher than the concept of the written letters. Allegorically, just like with the engraved letters, even though that through this is revealed and created the concept of letters, that's allegorically like the emanation of Atik and Arich. Nonetheless, the letters are of it and part of it. That nothing was added on, and nothing was lacking or missing. Other than the stone itself. Only that its brilliance was darkened a little. So too the concept of keser is a concept of infinite truly, only that in comparison to the truth of the infinite light, it's called darkness. Which is not the case with the written letter, that you write upon the book with ink. So the ink is something separate truly from the parchment, and also that the ink is black, and hides completely the whiteness of the parchment that's underneath the ink, and to the point where you can no longer see that parchment there at all. The whiteness of the parchment that's underneath the letter. And these written letters correspond with Chochma and Bina of Atzilus. Below Atik and Arich should be Slabshus HaTorah b'Chochma Bina, that with the enclothement of the Torah in wisdom and understanding of Chochma and Bina, Mamar Oraisa meChochma Nafkis, like the statement that the Torah comes out of wisdom. Nikra Torah Shebechsav, that's called the written Torah. Kemoshel Osios Aksav Hanal, like the allegory of these written letters, Kia Chochma Hi Kia Siya Gufnis, because the Chochma is like a physical act, Legabe or Ein Sof Baruch Hu, in comparison to the infinite light may be blessed. That's much higher than the essence and the boundary of the concept of Chochma. And this that nonetheless is drawn down the infinite light into Chochma and Bina. This is allegorically like the parchment being enclosed in letters. That you make upon it with ink. That the ink is not in the likeness and the essence of the white parchment at all. And not like an engraving, that the letters are part and parcel with the precious stone. And also the letter doesn't hide it all. You can find a little bit of an allegory for this, and that is intellect in comparison to the essence of the soul. That the essence of the soul is beyond intellect. So it's like something for itself. Only that the soul acts through the intellect. Which is not the case with the concept of will. That's the expression and the spreading out of the light of the soul itself. So intellect is, so to speak, separate, is more separate than the will of the soul, even though the soul also affects and does everything through its seichel, that it spreads out. So that's like the osios Torah shebechsav, in comparison to the ratzon, which is more like osios hachakika. And therefore Kesser, that's called the supernal will, nimshala osios hachakika, it's compared to the engraved letters, v'chochma bina nikra osios haksav chulu, and chochma and bina are called the written letters. V'agam shabat tzilus iu v'garmo ichad, and even though in Atzilus he and his kelim are one, so it's not actually separate. That's when you compare it to Bria Yitzira Asiya, Shein Bechinas Nivra, that their concept of actual creation, Riesh, and an existence, therefore, in comparison to the worlds of Bria Yitzira Asiya, the world of Atzilus is called he and his kelim are one. But in comparison to Atik and Arich, Nikra Filua, Chochma, Shireshis Atzilus, even Chochma, which is the beginning of emanation, Beshem Bria Yesh Mi'ayin, in comparison, it's called a creation of something from nothing. Like it's written, Chochma Ma'ayin Timatze, that Chochma comes from naught, Yesh Mi'ayin, creation of something from nothing. Vainu Bechinas Kelim, Eser Sphirus Atzilus, that is to say, the vessels of the 10 spheres of Atzilus, Shenekra Kelim, that are called vessels, She'in Sof Baruch Hu Pol Al Yadan, that the infinite may be blessed, affects through them. U'lechein Torah She'in Nimshecha Mechachma Atzilus, and therefore the Torah, which comes from Chachma Vatzilus HaMislabeshes Bebina, that's included in Bina, She Chachma Bina Him Trein Rein La Misfarshin. And Chachma and Bina are the two friends that don't separate. Ve'eker Bechinas Hisavus Osios Bebina, and the main concept of creation of letters is in Bina, Shenekra Sefer, that's called the book. Within the context of Sefer Sofer V'Sipor. The Sofer would be Chochma, I guess, and the Sefer is the Bina. So it's written down of Osios of Dio on the cloth, in Ima Sefer. That's called the written Torah. With a black fire upon a white fire. The Kamosha Osios Shemadio Mastirim Lovin Aklaf, that just like letters of ink hide the whiteness of the parchment shitachtov that are underneath it, kach mashinim shach orin sof baruch hu eish levana, so too that which is drawn down from the infinite light may be blessed. A white fire lihios musag b'chachma bina, to be understood within chachma bina dat silus zehu hester ve'helam mamash, that's a hiding and covering truly. Because the infinite may be blessed. You cannot say about the infinite that there's some kind of grasping or understanding at all. Only through confining the light into parchment and letters, so to speak. So that's why you call it wisdom and understanding, because you've confined it. There's a tzimtzum. It's called Chachma Bina, or Ein Sof is only through a tzimtzum of, so to speak, Dio on the cloth of Eish Chora al Gabe Eish Levana. Chukas Torah. Now, with the red heifer, it says that this is the statute of the Torah. That through the concept of going up and coming back of the ashes of the heifer and the living waters, like we explained, to this you draw down from the engraved letters the Atik va'arich d'Atzilus of Atik and Arich of Atzilus. And upon this, Shlomo Melech said, Amarti Chachma Yirechoka Mimeni. I said that I would be wise, but it was far from me. Shilamayla Rachog Mina Chachma Datzilus, that it is far away, beyond the wisdom of Atzilus. Meaning to say, this is coming from Keser, not from Chachma, from beyond Chachma. Only through this is drawn down the light of Atik and Arich within Chachma Bina V'zeugam kin perush Chukas Hatorah. I guess that's Yemusu v'lo b'Chachma, that you have to have, it brings in the Chayus into the Chachma, to have the Chachma, so that there's no Misa. It's Mitaher, the Tumas Meis, I guess. V'zeugam kin perush Chukas Hatorah, and this is also what it means, the statute of the Torah, that the Torah should be drawn from its root and source. So that's why it's called the Chukah of the Torah, because it's not just Chukas, it's not just the engraving, but it's the engraving to be mamshich into the Torah, into Torah shebechsav eshchor al gabe shlavana. So it's the Chukah, the Atik and Arich, as it's nimshach into Torah of Chachma Bina. Shebebechinas galif gilifu b'tirui law, that the source of the Torah is the engraving in within the supernal purity, in order to be enclosed and revealed in the written Torah, which are the Chachma Bina Vatzilus, and that's that which Hashem has commanded to say. The tziva is the tzavtza of Shem Havaya, of Atik, into lemor, into the concept of the Torah shebechsav of Chachma Bina.